So you should get a little prompt. So welcome everyone. This is the Meet Your Engineering course support team for undergraduate students who are commencing in November semester. November semester is, it's actually the first time we've ever had a November semester. So you're part of a group of students across 4 different faculties that will be commencing this November and getting a head start on your studies before semester 1 commences in late Feb, early March. So welcome. Just to let you know that in your classes, you'll also have students who are who have been studying earlier in your course. So students, predominantly first year students there'll be, but there'll be some second year students too, who will have started either this year or last year in with your cohort. So you won't just be, I think there's about 18 of you in total. So there'll be more than that in each of your classes, most likely. So my name's Andrea Waller. I'm the Manager of Student and Academic Services in the Faculty of Engineering. This is the session format. We've got an academic support section that John's going to run for us. I'm just getting to say hello.
Great, how's it going?
Hey, there he is. He's the Deputy Associate Dean Education for the Faculty of Engineering. Then we've got a peer support that we call FAME. This is going to be run by Angus and Laura. So we've got Angus there. Hey. Then there's some general support information that I'll provide to you. Here's Laura now. Hi, Laura. And then there's some engineering student support, services support information where your course advisors will be on hand. Now, can I just ask if there are, we just want to make sure, because we've got lots of course advisors here and we don't want to keep them unnecessarily. So I just want to check that we have students who are enrolling in chemical engineering. If you could just put something in the chat, just say yes. Civil engineering. If you're enrolling in electrical and computer systems engineering, or if you're enrolling in robotics and mechatronics in AI, could you just put your name and put AI or ECSE for electrical? If you're enrolling in aerospace, mechanical, or if you're enrolling in robotics and mechatronics in automation, can you please just put which specialisation you're enrolling in and send it through the chat? If you're enrolling in materials, can you put materials in the chat, please? And if you're enrolling in software, can you put software in the chat, please? And I think that's about it. We'll be dealing with resources and enviro with our group here. So course advisors, can you just have a quick look at the chat? Just make sure that you have a student in the session now who is enrolling in your specialisation. And if you don't have a student, then you're welcome to leave. And also, did I say Chem, Trina?
Yeah, you did, but
yeah,
no one.
There's no chems. Okay,
no.
Cool. All right.
Hi.
Hi. So just to take you through some Zoom etiquette, can you please stay on mute? So we'll ask questions at the end of the session. Monash authenticated users, well, you're all authenticated, so that's not an issue. The session's being recorded and I've just sent information about the camera stuff. So I will hand over to John.
Okay, good day everybody. So there'll be some of you we might be welcoming from Muffy, I believe, into first year as well.
Direct into first year, yes. So if you're direct into first year, you don't have to write anything. Just
yeah, cool. So if you're part of that, could you just put your hand up in the chat so I know how many of you are around. So you can click the little raise hand button if you click on participants. Because it gives us an idea of who's been at Monash for a little while and who's completely new to Monash. Okay, cool. So I can see a couple of you there. So if you haven't been at Monash before, part of the expectation we have in terms of the learning style at University of Monash is that it may be a bit different from where you've been before. Hopefully, if you're coming from Muffy or something, you'll probably experience a little bit of this, but you need to be a bit more of a proactive learner than you might have been in high school. So we at university, it's very much we're facilitating your learning. We're helping you to get to where you need to using, but you have to take initiative yourself to actually do the learning. A lot of our units in first year use what's called a flipped or blended learning model, in which often we will have some pre-work for you to do each week, and you need to do that pre-work before coming to the classes, because it's in the classes where we actually do the fun stuff, like tell you how all the pre-work that you've done relates to all the applications that we get you to do in the practice as well. So part of that is that we all need help sometimes, especially if we're doing some of the pre-work and we're not understanding it. So you're actually going to have to learn to ask for help. Okay, so that's the biggest thing you'll find as a new university student, or in fact for the rest of your life, is that if you don't understand something, just ask. Where we love questions, the teaching staff, we love answering questions. That's what we're here to do. We're here to help you learn. So please do not hesitate whatsoever to email your unit coordinator or your lecturer at any time to ask questions, okay? Because this is the only way that you will be able to learn. Okay, so while the lecture, it's probably going to be different for you in this November intake because the numbers are small. So usually lecturers don't always get to know the students as well, but in your case, in this November semester, you can really be able to form a connection with your lecturers just by, introducing yourself, saying hi, on your Zooms or on the or by email or chats in the practical sessions. Just introduce yourself, say hi to people. We in most of the first year units, we do keep you on track a little bit more than we would in the level 2 or higher units. We have very often weekly assessments, so there might be a small quiz or something to consolidate what you might have done in the pre-work. And so that's to help you, to train you, to motivate yourself to be able to continue on your learning journey. Okay, so however, your lecturer may not necessarily follow up with you if you don't submit an assignment, and this is going to be very different from school. So you will have to take this initiative yourself, and we're not going to leave you to it all to yourself, of course. That's why we're here, but you do need to ask. The time commitment per unit. So each unit that you do, so you might be doing 2 units, you might be doing 1001 and 1060, for example. They expect, as we design those units, we design them around students taking about 12 hours of study commitment for a week per unit. So you're looking at about 5 hours of contact time with your lecturers and your demonstrators in the activities, and then you're looking at about 7 hours of private study. And this is the general expectation of university study at Monash Uni. So from there, in that 7 hours of private study, that includes all the pre-work that I was talking about earlier. Yep, so we can go to the next slide, Andrea, thanks. Okay, so as I said, you'll often be needing to seek help. So where do you get help? So the best place to get help is often going to be the people that you see most often. So you'll be seeing demonstrators or prac class assistants or teaching associates at least 3 hours a week in the practical classes, and you'll be seeing your lecturers probably about 2 hours a week in your workshops that you attend. It'll probably be via live streaming, or there'll be face-to-face sessions over Zoom with your lecturers. But that's not the only time you get to see them. Sorry, that's not the only time you have contact with them. The best way to also contact them is through your Moodle forums. particularly on aspects of understanding about the content, because on those Moodle forums, if you've got a question for somebody, then probably your fellow students have the same question. So if you ask it on the forum, then the teaching staff can answer on the forum, so everybody can benefit from their answers. There will be regular unit consultation sessions. So there's at least 2 hours a week of open consultation time where you can just drop in. This will probably be via Zoom, where you just hop into the Zoom and your lecturer's sitting right there, right in front of you. And you can ask them any questions you like relating to the unit. And also, please don't hesitate to email your lecturers, because as I said, we are very happy to answer students' questions. And particularly these queries will relate to personal circumstances. Please feel free to direct those directly to your lecturers. Yep, I think that's it for that one, that slide. If you have some wider questions, say about your course, the overall structure of your course structure, that kind of thing, there's a website that you're all enrolled in. There's a Sunway version as well as a Clayton version. It's the first year lounge, and that holds a number of induction activities that you'll need to go through if you're taking the first year units. And this is really to get you adjusted to study life at Monash Engineering. It'll have a whole bunch of things that help you to diagnose if you need particular extra support in, say, some of the maths, or some of the prerequisite knowledge in physics, or the specialist maths or math methods. It'll also give you some training and induction in what academic integrity means at Monash University, and this is very important, particularly in this climate where we're learning from home and we're having open book assessments. So we need to train you so that you don't get yourself inadvertently in trouble by the university standards. There's also the Maths Learning Centre. So if you're taking Eng 1005, then there is also resources there specifically devoted to helping you with mathematics. And so the Maths Learning Centre, you can find out more information through the Eng 1005 Moodle site once that opens up for you. And finally, next slide, I think we have talking about some English support. So if, particularly in this semester, there'll be spaces available, I believe, where if you feel that you could use a little bit of extra support in English, then we have an award-winning program, internationally award-winning program, in the English Connect program, which is specifically designed to help you with different aspects of English competency. So it's not just in writing. There's aspects to help you in conversational English. So you actually get assigned with a native English speaker mentor. You meet up and you just chat about anything you like in a structured way. As well as workshops in actually writing academic English. And the reason this is important is because engineering is, you'll find that in a lot of the units that you'll do in engineering, that you'll be taking a lot of teamwork aspects into play. So in Eng 1001, for example, you'll be working in teams, and you'll have teams of 4 students. And the thing about working in teams is that clear communication is critical to any functioning of a team to get the job done. You'll find that you'll be doing this in a number of units throughout first year. So that'll be a good source for you to practice if you practice building confidence in your oral communication skills. So I will point you to that, and you will get notices about that in your unit sites as well. Yes, there are also, I'm not sure if, are these running in November,
No,
Andrea?
not, but I've included them there because they will be running in semester one. It says
Yes.
I'll update it in semester one of 2021.
Yep.
Most likely those 3 design units, if you're due to do them in semester one next year, will be running as a peer-assisted study session.
Okay. Yeah. So these sessions that are on this slide, they are actually the additional sessions run outside of the unit itself. So, and they are run by student mentors. So they're higher level students. So they might be year 3 or 4 students. And they are they've given training to build a little community around their classes, and they offer additional help and study and advice for those particular 3 design units: Eng 1001, 1002, 1003. Now, as Andrea said, these aren't running in November semester. However, they do run in the regular semesters. So, if you're joining us in this semester, you will probably you'll be offered this in semester 1 in 2021.
Yeah, they normally offer, give you a lot of worksheets to complete, just supplementary information.
Yep.
And
so
they're run by students who've taken the unit, and I think they have to have a minimum distinction to be able to become a mentor.
Yep. And they're known to us because they also did very well in the units themselves.
They did, yeah, very well. Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Thanks for that, John.
No worries. I'll pass over to Angus and Laura.
Yeah, pass over to. Thank you. See ya.
No worries.
Hi guys. I'm Angus and Laura, obviously, and we will be we're coordinating the FAME program, which stands for Friends and Mentors in Engineering. So just to give you a bit of a background on what that is, peer mentoring is a program where older students can sign up to be mentors, and they'll share their knowledge and experience with new people coming to Monash. It's a really great support network for you to set up, and it is also an awesome way to meet new people. So the program is run by students for students. So it is really enjoyable to be a part of, but it also means that every student who's done this, who's a mentor in this program, has done every one of those core units. So they know what resources are available to you. They know where to direct you if you need to get some help. And they're also just like a really good person to talk about if you're struggling about transitioning to uni life, or just want a friend to have a chat with. One thing I would say is it's really important to form a support network at uni. So I guess in transitioning, if you're coming from Monash College or you're coming from high school, you're coming into a different environment with different people, and you're going to face both academic and personal challenges in your time at uni. So it's really important to set up that network of people that you can reach out to for help, or you can reach out to talk about any issues you have. And I would say that FAME is the perfect way to do that, because you're going to be put in with your peers and you're going to get to know them, as well as you're going to be able to get some experience and advice from older students. And I'll just finally say on introducing it that engineering is the team sport, and FAME is the best group project you'll do in your first year.
Great tagline.
Awesome. So as engineering students, you guys are automatically enrolled into this program, and it's structured. There's 4 informal catch-ups that you'll take part in with your mentor and your peers as well. So the first one, we go over, you just meet your mentor, you meet the other students in your group. Your mentor will tell you about some of the facilities at Monash. They'll give you a bit of a rundown on the online resources, including Moodle, which you'll definitely need to get used to. And also they'll talk about learning styles and different ways to study. Then we've got the second informal, which is my personal favourite, where we talk about getting involved in the community. So Monash has so many clubs, societies and student teams on offer. It's ridiculous, overwhelming at times as well. So there's ones for all kinds of hobbies and interests. Most countries have a club as well, like there's the Lebanese society, so there's lots of people to meet there, as well as there are some engineering specific clubs as well. They're called student teams. So we have Monash Motorsport, where they build race cars. We've got Monash high-powered rocketry, where they launch rockets. So there's all stuff you can get involved with, and they'll give you a full rundown of all of those clubs, which are awesome to be a part of. We've got the third informal, and it'll be more about the transition from high school or from Monash College if you're coming from Monash College. They'll give you some study tips for exams, and they'll also talk about picking your specialisation if you haven't done so yet. And then the last informal is mainly about exam revision and just a bit of a chill out before exam time, as it can be a pretty stressful period. Yep.
Then moving on, the other thing to take note of is that FAME is not just like an academic program, it's also like there's a large social aspect to it. So as part of all these informals, you'll be doing kind of fun like activities and ways to get to know each other. Obviously that's quite different at the moment because you're having to do that stuff via Zoom, but I can't tell you how many applications we're going through now of mentors who were mentees this year, and they're telling us about how much fun they had and how all the new people that they met through this program. So a really big aspect of this is also setting up your social life at Monash University, as well as getting that academic balance right. Next slide.
Yep. So you guys, you're automatically enrolled into FAME, but it isn't compulsory for you to participate. However, we highly recommend you engage in this program. Engineering, it can be long and hard sometimes. So it's really important that you can make a couple of friends and you can go through it together. It'll be so beneficial to your learning and to your mental health as well. The next point is ask questions. So I know your mentors personally, and they're both the sweetest, nicest girls. And the reason they signed up is they just want you guys to be comfortable at Monash. So ask them anything you want. They're happy to answer all your questions about uni. And then the last point, if you have any goals or desires for your time at Monash, be vocal about it with your mentors. They've been at uni for 3 or 4 years now. So they might have some advice or guidance that could really fast track you to getting where you want to be.
And I guess just the final thing is I guess the practical steps of what's going to happen now to get enrolled in the program. So you'll be added to our online platform that we manage mentoring through Kronos, and you'll get an email about this. Then you're going to get matched to a mentor group. But because the program is so small over November, all of you guys are going to be put in the one group with 2 mentors. So you'll get to know everyone who's doing the November intake, which is really useful because you're all going to be doing the same subjects, basically. And then your mentor will reach out to you and set up your first session, which is where you'll get to meet them and everyone else in your team. And that's when the program will properly begin. And I'm just going to put in the chat, this is my email. Laura's is the same. If you have any questions that you wanted to follow up on after this, just shoot us an email and we're happy to help you out with anything.
Yeah,
Thank
feel
you.
free to reach out. Nice.
Thanks. So thanks to Angus and Laura. Just before we finish with FAME, Cam, do you have anything else? Anything you'd like to add?
No, I think they covered most of it. I think, yeah, everyone should have received an email now to say that you've been matched with your mentors. So check your emails and yeah, reach out if you have any questions.
I think it's great that the group, because it's smallish, is going to be together with 2 mentors. I think that's great. And many of you will know each other from Monash College, but we've got some other students coming in from Muffy, I think, and from outside. So I think that's going to be a great way to introduce yourself into Monash University in engineering. Just a quick slide on getting connected and making friends, which can be a little bit more difficult when we're in this sort of remote environment. So I've put some links in there and we'll send you out the video of this as well as the presentation so that you can get the links and go in and have a look. The Monash Student Association, which is the main undergraduate association at Monash Clayton, and they oversee the clubs, teams and societies. So I've put a link through to the Monash Student Association. They also provide advocacy. If you've got a problem at university that you're simply not happy with and you've tried to resolve informally, then they can provide you with advice and assistance. There's a link through to the Monash clubs and societies, and as Laura said, there's a club for virtually anything. It's almost overwhelming. There are so many of them, but everyone has different interests. We all come from different backgrounds, and there's bound to be something there for you. There's just so much on offer. Next, engineering. We obviously sit under the clubs, teams and societies at the university, but we proudly hold the record to have the most clubs, teams and societies of any one of the faculties in terms of affiliations. So there's a hell of a lot there if you're interested. So there's a link there. And then there's also non-residential colleges. So non-residential colleges, you can be grouped into one of the colleges. You don't have to be staying on the residences. In fact, I don't think you're allowed to stay on the residences to be part of that. And they run a number of social events. And they'll be running social events this November and into next year as well when we go through orientation for the students starting in semester 1 of next year. But just ongoing events just to keep you linked in with your peers and to keep those connections happening. We noticed John oversees the first year learning lounge, and there are a few posts there from students who are feeling a little bit isolated, and it was absolutely fantastic the way the first year learning lounge was used by other students to say, well, I'm interested in this, are you interested in this? And I'm interested in that. And just the gamut of interests, the breadth of interest there that got people talking about, you know, being a little bit isolated when you're at home and just wanting to connect with and make new friends. So that was great. So my advice is please get connected. Uni is not just, well, it's primarily about learning, but it's also about establishing friendships and with people who have some common interests with you, just to make it a little bit easier and to bounce off when you're stressed. So I'll just provide you with some general information. There's some links here to student support services. So the first link directs you through to all the information you're going to need to be learning online and provide you with some assistance in that. Then there's a link to study skills. That goes through to the library. So there's information on effective study, exam preparation, and the differences when you're in learning style, as John touched on earlier, when you're moving to a tertiary environment. There's specific information on engineering assignments, on writing labs and technical reports, presenting and poster presentation. And then there's some general links down the bottom to your health and well-being, which is of paramount importance whilst we're all working remotely. There's some international student support information in there, and as I touched on a little bit earlier, complaints and advocacy if you need someone to assist you if you're not happy with something. Just before we go on to this, I might actually, Kathy, who's our team leader in student services, is going to play 2 quick talking heads, very, very brief recorded information from 2 of our students in MES, I believe they are. And they're just going to give you some tips and a little bit of reflection on how they found online learning this year.
You can see him.
Yes,
Yeah.
we can see Matt.
I think obviously online learning has been difficult for everyone in different ways, but I think there's definitely been some good things coming about it. In terms of the most effective teaching method for me, I'm really an applied learner. So weekly worksheets and like mini quizzes I found to be really effective and just important for consolidating learning, because just getting smacked with lectures doesn't really work for me. My favourite thing about online learning is probably just being the extra time that I've had. I don't live super close to uni, so not having to commute means that I have a lot more time to do work and also to do not work. And it's actually resulted in a fairly marked improvement in my results so far, which is good, really nice. And my experience with e-exams and e-assessments has also been really good. I find sitting and doing an exam in my own room to be just a lot more relaxing. I feel more concentrated and I don't feel as nervous. It seems comfortable in my own room, even the invigilated one. So, yeah.
Okay, there you have it. You're on mute, Andrea.
Sorry, I just saying I'm going back to screen share. So Student Support Services Group comprises all the course advisors from the various departments and faculty office. We're here to help you with the majority of your administrative inquiries, so enrolment, credit, course maps, progression, complex course advice. If you're wanting to go off on exchange and study abroad, so potentially in 2022, and also your academic progress. If you've got a question about, do I do this unit here or that unit there, we're the people that you would come to see. Now, with all students who have been admitted in the November semester, you would have each received your own course map. You need to follow that course map pretty much to the letter. That course map is very different, well not that different, but it's different from the course maps that are on our website that we normally get students to refer to. So we've moved units around and manipulated them so that you've got your November and then your semester 1 and semester 2 for next year. It's been done in a specific way to ensure that you complete in the shortest possible time within your specific discipline. So majority of you will complete in 4 years if you've come into the first semester of first year, or in 3 years if you're coming into the first semester of second year. There are some specialisations that will take a little bit longer, but I can't impress upon you enough that you need to just make sure that you follow that. And if you've got any questions, to send them through to us and we'll assist you and ask.monash inquiry. I think many of you have been liaising with Danette over the phone in the last few days, and she's been assisting you with your semester 1 and 2 2021 units. So we are not going to have breakout rooms because I don't think there's enough of you to go through this. But so we've got chemical engineering, we've got Trina. Does anyone have any questions for Trina about their chemical engineering degree if they're going into second year of chem? So we'll just go through each of the specialisations. Just put it in the chat if you do.